Hello, EXP. My name is Megan Patterson. I'm the Chief Client Officer here at MyOutdesk. MyOutdesk is among the family of EXP Solutions preferred partners, and we are so excited to present this webinar to you today. Today, we're going to be hearing from our founder and CEO, Daniel Ramsey. Daniel is just like you. He started his business, MyOutdesk, in 2007 as a very, very busy real estate professional who didn't have enough time. He was running his business day in, day out in detail until he figured out how to hack that and get time back into his system. Today, he not only runs MyOutdesk with the help of virtual assistants, he uses virtual assistants throughout all of his companies to leverage his own velocity and get time back in his personal schedule. He even uses virtual assistants in his personal life to get time back. In this exciting webinar, we're going to hear from Daniel today about how you can get time back in 2026, how to leverage what you do best, close deals, and be in front of people making more deals to scale your business. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce once again founder and CEO of MyOutdesk, Daniel Ramsey. Good morning, Daniel. Thank you so much for joining today.
Morning, Megan. Thank you so much, EXP, for having me. Guys, we have comments here, and I'm going to dive deep. This is not just business because time is a 24/7 thing. So I've got a lot of frameworks that I use in my personal life, my family. We're going to talk through a bunch of challenges as well as frameworks, and basically I'm going to give you everything that I use personally to organize my life. So here we go. We're rocking in. So the question becomes, and I don't know, are you guys seeing? Yep, here we are. The question becomes, how do I run a business without sacrificing my peace, my family, or my health? That's ridiculous. This is the hardest thing to do in business. As you know, real estate is an unforgiving industry. You're working weekends, evenings, you're at the client's whim. And so the biggest challenge in my life has been, how do I stay focused, drive revenue, build a business that's worth owning, while also not sacrificing the most important things in life? If you're here and you want something different out of your life, you're in the right spot. We're going to deliver that today. And I'm going to share as much as I possibly can to help you guys grow and scale your business. First, I want to just really define what we do to ourselves. So this is a really interesting slide because my wife helped me with it. This is something that she actually was reading a book about, and this line is from the book. And the repercussions of being out of balance are inescapable and immeasurable violence to yourself and to others. Now, that's wild when you think about it, but it's true. When we're busy, we're running around with our heads chopped off, running from one client thing to another client thing, missing the important things in life. Violence to yourself and others. So today I'm going to go through exactly how to avoid that. And the truth is, I don't know about you, but I felt it multiple times in my life. There just isn't enough time, and we have a big vision. We want things and we need to execute. So today I'm going to share with you all of the things that I use in my personal life, even from things that I do with my children to help them win in life. So this is who I was. This is 2009. I'm on my honeymoon. At this point, I've been in real estate 5 years, building a business, had 3 different offices. And here I am on my honeymoon in Guatemala. Actually, we're in this beautiful bungalow apartment. It's like one of these places with monkeys, howler monkeys in the background. Our room is in the trees. It's just like this insanely beautiful place. My bride is back in the room, and the bartender grabs my phone, and says, "Daniel, you're crazy. This is ridiculous. Are you were married to money? What's wrong with you?" And the reality is I'm overweight. So this is the violence to yourself or to others, right? I'm overweight. I'm not present on my honeymoon. I'm closing a deal and it's 1 a.m. You guys see the candle in the center. I'm literally working by candlelight. You probably understand this. You know this. you're in real estate, whether you're a commercial broker or a residential broker, this is our world at times. So I'm going to go through how I got through that path and what happened. In this moment, what I realized is that, and maybe you're like me, I wanted to stay married. I wanted to one day have a family. And the reality hit me, which was I didn't own a business. The business owned me. And I wanted to shift that. So time is our most valuable resource. It's the only thing that once you run out of it, it's gone forever. Once it's depleted, once you're sick, old, almost dying, like that's it. You don't get more. So it's our most valuable resource. It's really important. So I'm going to share how I protect time and leverage as much as I possibly can inside of our business. The first thing is I'm a very crazy calendar person. This is called the Big Ass Calendar, and you can see it right there. We schedule our entire life out years in advance. So I know the vacations that we're going on. I know the places that we're going. I know when I'm working. I know when I've got school things for the kids. I know when I have a trip with my wife. And we put this on a calendar. And what's wild about this calendar is it's huge and it fits on a wall. And so what's great about this, there's two things. We, as real estate professionals, we work really hard. Weekends, evenings, open houses, closing deals, dealing with, different personalities and stressful thing, and agents that work for us or our referral partners. Like there's a lot of stress going on. So there's one thing that I love about the big calendar is that I can look forward to the vacations. I can look forward to the family time. I can look forward to, time with my wife. We put date nights on Friday nights. Every Friday night we're doing date night. And so the beautiful thing is twofold. One, organizing your time, like what my schedule is going to look like, where am I going to go, what am I going to do, plus having something to look forward to when you're hustling, when you're out there running around, when you're out there working hard to close deals for your clients. This gives you something to look forward to. The second picture over here is my wife. We actually have a whiteboard in our kitchen, and we organize our entire week, and we talk about it every Sunday night. So Sunday night, we finish dinner, and we're talking like, hey, what do you have going on this week that you need my support? I'll ask that question. My wife will be like, hey, what do you have going on? And what do you need support? We talk about what we're doing with the kids. We talk about what's going on with the businesses. We talk about what trips we have to go on and where we're going. This helps us really organize and understand our most valuable resource, which is time. And so if you're on this call today, not only are we going to talk about systems and processes to save you time, we're going to talk about leverage and delegation, and that's that next part of the conversation. What's interesting too is now I built this whole thing out, and you can kind of see this is a financial rhythms. So a lot of people run businesses, run households, but they forget the importance of creating rhythms inside of their home or inside of their business or inside of their life. So this is an example, maybe 10 years ago. As a real estate professional, I rely on my good credit in order to buy houses, in order to refinance, in order to pull money out of houses. And so about 10 years ago, I'm working with my bookkeeper, and we'd missed 2 mortgages. They weren't set up on auto pay, and it wasn't working. And so I sat down with my accounting team, and I was like, hey guys, what's our rhythm in accounting? What does it look like? What do we do on a daily basis? What do we do on a weekly basis? What do we do on a monthly basis? What's the work on a quarterly, and what's the work annually? So I'm just sharing with you some of the systems that I've used to stay organized in my world. It's really important to, guys, I as much questions as you have, we're going to have a Q&A at this. Please throw your questions in the comment. Give us some thoughts. Give us some of your feedback or questions around this, because this is how I run MyOutdesk, which is a global staffing company for real estate professionals. It's how I run other businesses and my own life. So you're getting kind of a peek under, behind the curtain, and there's lots of opportunity here if you have questions. So that's how I organize time. Now, the question about the time is, and I don't know if you guys are like me, we have 3 daughters, they're all school age. And so every weekend we could be at a different person's house, we could be at a birthday party, we could be, hanging out with one family or another based on what my kids want. And so time is as such a valuable resource. What I wanted to do is have a filter, like how do you make the decision to spend time doing a thing? And so I've used this framework within my business, within my personal life, within my family, to really hone in on how to make decisions around time. And these are some of the questions that I'll ask myself. 1, do I want to do this or do I need to do this? Will this bring me or my family joy? Does this add value to me or my family? Now, imagine you could add to me, my business, or my family. You could add any of those opportunities. So the question is this a long-term friendship? Will I know these people in 5 years? I can't tell you. With 30 kids in every single one of my 3 daughters' class, that's 90 kids. There's some weekend that somebody has a birthday party, a soccer party, a swim party, or something going on. So this is the framework that I'll run through in order to make decisions about how, as a family or as a human, we spend time. And I think it's a really big deal. So snap a photo. The idea here is that you can utilize this in your own life, and you can adapt it to your business. You can adapt it to your customers. I mean, imagine if you had a question, is this a long-term customer who gives me or is part of my referral network? And making that a question of whether or not you'd want to spend a whole bunch of time with them. And so this is just a great way to think about protecting your time. Okay, relationship decisions. Now, I recently, we took this family trip to Africa. This is the groups, and it was with 6 other families and a bunch of kids. And this is a great photo. We're standing in this river, and it's a little cold, and we're having a good time. But on the bus ride to this excursion, we went through this exercise of really analyzing the people that we spend the most time with in our lives. And again, this is back to decisions. Like, how do I know that this person is somebody that I want to spend a lot of time? I want to be in relationship. Now, this works for business, this works for personal, this works for friends. And what we did, and my good friend Jay Borgana, he actually came up with this framework, and I watched my wife, my daughters, myself go through this process where we asked questions about the people that we were spending time with. And again, this is driving intention into your personal life, into your business, into your world. So these are some of the questions you can ask. And my middle daughter, she's 10, and I watched her list all of her friends out and then answer yes or no. And she did it in a plus minus, or a minus for all of these questions. And then she has all of her friends listed out, and she realized she has 2 best friends, 2 people that add value to her life, that are positive, that are learners, who want to be a big part of her life, and she likes being a part of their life. They don't bring drama. They're interested in similar things, and they're likely to be successful. So she went through all of her friends, and she had like 12 or 13 friends, and she said, you know what? I have 2 best friends. Now, I like this as an example because you can run through this exact same framework for the people that you're in business with, for the maybe you have some partners, maybe you have some employees, maybe you have, people that you refer business with, or vendors that you rely on. You can create a framework to ask yourself the questions like, hey, are these people aligned with me? Do we share values? Are we in a space where when I spend a lot of time with them, I feel better or worse? This again is how to protect your time, which is the most valuable resource that you have in the world. Okay, so how do I know this? Because here, I was a guy who did not protect my resource, which was time. I was doing violence to myself and to others. I was just running around. And so after this moment on my honeymoon, what I decided is I had to come back and completely transform everything in my life. I had to build new systems and processes. I had to hire differently. I had to think differently about leverage and delegation. And so that's what we're going to go over now, is just like, once you get clear about how important time is and what you want in life. See, at this moment, what I ask myself is, hey, do I want to stay married? Yes. Do I want to build a family? Yes. Do I want to own a business versus have a business own me? This was a big deal. And so in that moment, I was like, I realized that I needed help. I needed to change how I was organizing my business. So this is another really cool, if you know Cody Sanchez, she's a friend of mine, and she's a very entrepreneurial focused creator online. And she came to us maybe 10 years ago, and we're talking. And I was like, hey, what are you doing? She's like, I don't know. I feel like I'm spinning my wheels. I feel like I'm not getting all the things done that I want to in the day. And I'm not on track, and I'm not crushing it. And I was like, okay, well, let's talk about how you're spending time. And so this is called the sticky challenge. And I learned this from a friend of mine almost 15 years ago. When I'm on my honeymoon, I came back, I did a time and task analysis. And here's what we do. You write down on a sticky note whether you're doing dollar productive activity, which is meeting clients, talking to customers, asking for referrals, showing property, maybe doing open houses, maybe, if you're a commercial guy, you're out there talking to folks and finding listings. The reality is, a sticky challenge is just writing down on stickies what you're doing and whether or not it's dollar productive activities. Now, I want to define dollar productive activities. That's when you're in the presence of your customers or your referral partners, or you're leading your team to help you generate revenue. If you're prospecting, if you're cold calling, if you're calling into your database, if you're inviting people to your holiday party that we just got done. It's January. We just got done with Christmas. So a lot of you had holiday parties. A lot of you maybe gave away pies for Thanksgiving or Christmas. If you're in a space where you're working towards or with your clients in order to generate revenue, that's dollar productive activities. Everything else is non-dollar productive activities. And what I'd encourage you to do is think about, hey, can I get rid of this work? Can I give this work away to someone? Can I build a system and process and leverage somebody else to do this busy work? So that's what Cody did. She went through a process where she just wrote down everything that she was doing. She found that she spent the majority of her time in non-dollar productive activities. Spent a lot of time on social media, spent a lot of time, doing stuff that was busy work. And so after doing the sticky challenge, she came back and reorganized how she spent her time, our most valuable resource. Changed her world. So what I'm suggesting for you, our audience right now, is to think through how you're spending your time. And then you ask yourself the question, is this important for me to do? Can I hire somebody to do this for me? Or is this the work that only I can do as the CEO, as the boss, as the licensed agent? Is this only the work that I can do? Somebody just, Chris, I love your question, man. And actually, this is a great time. If you have thoughts or questions, this is a great time to throw them in the chat, because that's what we're here for, is learning together. All of our folks are in either Africa, Asia, or Latin America, which is where our folks are. And we primarily do these 5 things. So think transaction, listing coordination, inside sales, somebody to help with answering sign calls, or calling your customers, or calling your referral partners, or maybe your database, which is a big deal. Helping with marketing, social media management, listing management. This is a huge part of real estate. I can tell you right now, I'm selling a commercial piece of property, and I'm looking at the top 4 brokers in the market, and I'm looking at how they've marketed other properties to make a decision about which broker I want to work with in that market. So marketing is a really big deal, and we have some really great professionals. Customer service, if you need somebody to answer the phones and just be the connector. I know we serve a lot of companies in that voice and maybe chat and the emails and just going back and forth with people who raise their hand and are interested. And then accounting is such a big deal. Most real estate professionals wait to the end of the year to do their books. We can get you somebody who are doing books on a regular basis so that you can keep your numbers tight. Our industry and our books are such an important part of making sure that we stay profitable and are organized. And so these are the 5 things that will help you in 2026 leverage and get off your plate so that you can do the most important stuff, the things that only you can do. That's what actually makes you a business owner. So I'm going to go through simple examples because this is the most common questions, like administrative executive assistants, your time gatekeeper, somebody who can just help you with email, calendar, transaction coordination, listing, and project management. These are huge opportunities for real estate. Sales and marketing, or social media and marketing, lead generation, online traffic master, and brand builder. We're all in the business of creating brand out there so that when somebody needs to sell or is thinking about buying or upgrading, your name is top of mind. So having a virtual professional really focused on helping you build brand is a big deal. Lead qualifiers, pipeline engineers. How many people generate a lead and then realize they're not qualified? Well, we have folks who can send them over to your lender partners so that they can get qualified. So by the time they come back, you're dealing with somebody who's ready to go, knows their price, and is ready to actually transact, which is a huge deal. Customer service, NPS Defender. I know EXP has one of the best NPS scores in the industry, which is a really big deal. Ticket arbitrage, operations coordinator. These are people who can keep projects and operation and communicate with folks. This is a really big opportunity for real estate professionals. And then again, we talked about this, accounting and financial organizations. So these are the 5 things that we do every single day, day in and day out, for real estate professionals, for folks just like you who are busy, entrepreneurial, running around, want to build a business, but need help inside their business. And I know for 2026, you have a big vision and we have skilled talent on demand. Now, what's interesting about right now, and I think it's so timely that we're in February today. We're in February, we're building up for the next 2 months, 2 or 3 months. If you moved forward right now, got your person in the door today to actually get them trained up on your brand, how you do things, your technology, your systems, learning your team, your customers, they would be ready for the spring and summer selling season. In summer, spring and summer, late spring really, 60% of all transactions happen. That means you got this 4 or 5 month period where the majority of your revenue comes from. And right now is the time. If you need delegation or leverage in your world, like this is the perfect time. The question I get from real estate professionals always is, does this really work? 18 years ago when we founded the company, and you saw my picture, I'm on my honeymoon working. I didn't know if it would work. I didn't know. Today, we've had thousands of customers. Currently, we have 2,500 virtual professionals placed with other real estate people just like you. And what's crazy is this is one of those moments in my career where I realized I had something like this. Our talent, they were motivated. They were interested in adding value. They wanted to work hard. They wanted to please as a customer. Like I had a transaction coordinator, and we're working on this transaction in this place called Woodland, California. Now in Woodland, if you owned a new house, because there was a lot of trees, these new homes came with fire sprinklers. Well, you had to have the fire marshal out to do an inspection, and it wasn't in the disclosures. It wasn't in the information. It was just an ordinance that had just passed. Our transaction coordinator, who happened to be in the Philippines, handled everything for the buyer and the seller on this particular transaction. I didn't know about it. And the buyer's agent, I was the listing agent, the buyer's agent actually sent a thank you card to our physical address saying, thank you, Jocelyn, for all of your help getting this thing closed. It was a difficult property, but we made it. And he had no idea that she wasn't physically in our office. And so that was the moment for me. It all clicked. It all came together. Wow, these people are massively talented and they can actually help my business and they can actually help us grow. We've been rated the #1 virtual assistant company for 5 years in a row. We didn't buy this. We didn't buy this. This is actually an independent third party saying we are the best, which is really cool. And the thing that's really important about when you hire somebody, turnover is the enemy of scale. So I'm really thankful to say that on average, our customers, receive or enjoy 5 years of tenure. So what that means is that when you hire somebody today, they're not going to go get a license and become your competition tomorrow. How many people has that happened to on this call? Like, you train somebody, you get them a license, you show them how to use a CRM, how to follow up, how to build a book of business, and then they go, oh, I'm out of here. I'm going to go be my own person. That just does not happen. Our folks, they get trained and then they add value on average to our customers for 5 years in a row, which is massive in terms of building and growing a company. So for 2026, you have a big vision, and I keep saying that because I hope you do, and you want to protect your balance in your life, not do violence to yourself or others, and you'd like to delegate. And so we have a very good offer for EXP. Right now, if you sign up, we're whacking $500 off your first invoice. So when you hire somebody and you choose them and you send us and you give us your trust, what we're doing is we're giving you a $500 discount on that initial invoice, which is a really big deal. And if you want to sign up, you can actually just take out your cell phone real quick. And I think this is important to note. There's no charge for having a conversation with us. There's absolutely no charge in coming to our company and saying, I don't know about a sticky challenge. I'm not sure about the big calendar that Daniel's talking about. I don't even know, if I'm set up right or I have all the tools that I need to make this work. But here's what I do know. I need help. So if you scan this right now, you'll actually get a little form to fill out. We're only asking for your name and email and phone number. And then for free, we'll walk you through our methodology. We'll talk about your business in particular. We'll talk about what your team looks like, how you're organized, what technology you have, what you're trying to build. And we'll walk you through this process to help you self-discover whether or not we can add value to you or not. Like, that's the most important thing. We have to agree, you and us, that there's enough value here for you to move forward and hire somebody, for you to move forward and actually get the leverage that you need in your life. So that's always the first question, is like, do I need to hire? Do I have enough work? Is there, how would this be organized? And we'll give you an entire plan, and you'll be either 100% convinced that there's opportunity here for us to work together, or you're not, and you'll walk away with a plan for the future. So this is an absolutely no risk kind of conversation where you're going to get all of our 18 years and thousands of people of experience in the real estate world. Like, we built real estate virtual assistants 18 years ago when it didn't exist. So not only are you going to get all that kind of beautiful strategy, but it's going to cost you nothing to move forward. And worst case scenario, you walk away with a plan that at some point in the future you can employ when you're ready. That is our first offer. Our second offer is, I've wrote a book about this, and all of the things that we're talking about in this conversation are inside the book. How to scale with a virtual professional, systems and processes, how to onboard and train, all of the great tricks and tips and things that we've learned over the years are all compiled in this book. So as a secondary gift to you when you come in and do a consultation, we'll give you a copy of this book. Chris, great question. How much do we get charged? We're a weekly fee of $500 for a full-time person. Now, this full-time person gives you, they get healthcare, they get vacation. We do 2 conferences a year. We're basically in a space where we're giving you a full-time employee, 100% dedicated to your vision and your business, and it costs you $500 a week. And I guess, Chris, the question for you would be, what would you do with an extra 40 hours a week back in your life? If somebody was taking all the busy work off your plate, what would you do with that time? Where would you go? How could you drive revenue? How could you change your business? What would that look like in your world? So as a gift, we're going to get a strategy session with our people. Then you're going to get a book, and you're going to walk away with, and there's absolutely no obligation, but a ton of value. So this is the conversation today. This is what we've talked about. This is ModCon 2024, our annual conference. And you can kind of see my family is here on the side. Our COO and Megan is in the background. And I really, really want to honor and thank you for showing up today. This could be a game changer for your business. And maybe it's not, but I think you owe it to yourself to at least explore. So as we wrap up, I'd love to hear your individual questions. I'd love to understand your individual thoughts about hiring a virtual professional in your world. Here we go, guys. Yeah, thank you. Pretty cool. Thank you, Yasmin. I appreciate you. Chris also said thanks. Ashley, I don't know what happened, but I lost the video. Oh, Ashley, looks like she had some technical issues. I'm sorry, Ashley. I'm not sure what happened. I'm like the monkey behind the machine. Marcus enjoyed. Christian, thanks for being here. Christian had a question. I think it's a great question. Is there an option for part-time? What we do for EXP specifically, and this is really important, Christian, is I would find that you have 2 options. One, I would find somebody who is maybe in your market or somebody that you're good friends with, that you could share somebody for 20 hours in your market and they could share them for 20 hours. A lot of our folks do that. It's really an amazing thing because most of the time it's administrative or transaction or listing coordination or some light marketing or listing kind of marketing materials. So with those very defined roles, we do the share all the time. Let's see, Christy, are your VAs familiar with legal requirements as TCs and all? That's a great question. Actually, my good friend Tyler Smith owns SkySlope, and SkySlope is your internal kind of transaction and listing coordination stuff. So they don't know all the nuances. Like Chicago and New York and Texas and California and Florida, those are the 5 big markets, right? They're absolutely different from each other. Tennessee too. Some are attorney states, some are escrow states. Even in California, Northern California and Southern California have absolutely different processes and absolutely different styles. So they don't know them, but companies like SkySlope, their technology has been built so that they know all those nuances. And I like Professor YouTube, Dr. Google, and now we have the AI gods. And so all the world's information is at the fingertips. That's our fingertips. That's another thing. All of our folks are placed with you with these advanced AI tools, with the understanding that they have to be scrappy and go out and figure out these things. But no, they're not familiar with the legal requirements of TCs in all 50 states. That would be a very difficult thing. Now, for EXP, we have in the transaction side, we have virtual professionals that are servicing the entire company, and in fact, even international. So our people sit in that role right now for EXP. So that's my answer. They're not familiar with an individual, all the rules in the different 50 states, because I don't think a single human can be, but they're very adept at at figuring that stuff out. Christian, part-time, we kind of talked about that. Let's go to Chrissy's number or question here. Is there an annual contract or is there a month-to-month option? Great question, Chrissy. We have a 6-month, a 12-month, and a 24-month. Now, the longer you commit, the better the price is. Now, of course, the $500 a week price that I quoted, that's for the longer commitment. Now, why does that matter? I know you as a real estate professional, I hate it. I hate committing to long-term contracts. You and I were the same humans, but here's the reason that we do it. We do it because our folks want long-term employment. And because we offer long-term employment, we get the best of the best. This isn't a data entry person. This isn't a person who can do basic tasks. These are people who become, over time, partners to you in business. The right-hand people in my marketing team, I'll tell you right now, she manages a budget of $200,000 a month in paid advertising, and she's in the Philippines. Same thing on our sales team. These folks are partners to you in your business. So there's an annual contract because they want long-term commitments, and we make great matches for our customers. So if you're uncertain, that's what the strategy call is for, is to get you certain, like that there's enough value for you in the long term so that you can actually commit to that 2 years and feel good about that commitment. So great question, Chrissy. Thanks for that. Do you have French speaking assistants? Wow. Yasmin, this is a great question. We do. We happen to be in North Africa. North Africa, as you might know, is a French-speaking continent. So if you're on the northern part of Canada and Quebec, we can assist. We also have Spanish-speaking assistants. So we've got a real good mix of Spanish, French. Yeah, we've got you. So it's a great question. Let's see. Are you familiar with Quebec's real estate regulations? The most regulated real estate market in the world. You know, that's a good question. I don't know if we have anybody right now that is super familiar with Quebec and their regulations. But again, I go back to Dr. Google, Professor YouTube, the AI gods, and free university. I remember when I was back in the real estate game, I didn't have time to train my virtual professional to be a transaction coordinator. So I actually hired a third-party company to do a 6-week training, and it was specific to California because, gosh, if you think Quebec is crazy, you should see what we're required to do in California. It's like, it's as crazy. So I would encourage you, if you have a need, come in, have a conversation, and let's see if we can help you. Chris, back in the question world. Oh, so in other words, agents would not have to train the VA on how to be a TC. I'm not saying that. Again, in my office, we use DocuSign as a transaction coordinator. I didn't use Dotloop or SkySlope. So how I did transactions, even though I'm in Sacramento, California, is different than my good friend Dan, another Dan in the world, who was a KW agent and I was an independent. We did transactions fully different. So what I would say is, again, I'm going to go back to Dr. Google, Professional YouTube, you know, the AI gods and the free online universities. There is plenty of training out there, but our virtual professionals, they need to know how you need it done. They need to know what's right. Plus, and this is one of the wildest transactions I ever did. It was a property on 5 acres with a house and a trailer, and it had a well for the trailer and city sewer for the house and a different well for that house. And the transaction was held up, and there's so many variables in how transactions get done. There's so many like different rules based on the city. Like I was sharing about Woodland, California. They had fire sprinklers. A fire marshal, there's only 2 in the whole city, had to walk the house and inspect the fire sprinkler systems. So I had no idea. And here I am. I'm a broker from 2004 to today. And I had no idea that was required in Woodland. So there are all these nuances that the virtual professional will need your help in order to get up to speed. And they need your partnership so they can get up to speed so that they can add value to you. And as real estate people, we were like, we want the per transaction fee where I don't have to think about it or worry about it. But this is not that. This is a full-time employee. They work directly for you. They know your business. They know your teams. They know your vendors. They'll know everything about your business and how to help you grow and scale, but they're going to need help in the beginning just to get up to speed. All right, Chris said, gotcha. I love it. And Yasmin, yep, Spanish, we got you. I'm excited about our Spanish. Ooh, yeah. How about your own company, Chrissy? I love this. I think we're up to 400 virtual professionals with EXP corporate, and 10 is on here. She is the person who organizes every single thing within the whole company, and she's at our annual conferences. In terms of people or references, we have so many references on our website. Like if you go to myoutdesk.com and just look at it, we built this company for real estate professionals by real estate professionals. Our entire training program is centered around real estate. So I would encourage you to come in, have a conversation. In fact, I'm going to go back to this code so you guys can jump on and just quickly register. But I would invite you to come in, have a conversation, get your strategy, a written strategy, like talk about what you need and where you're at. Grab a copy of our book. And then if you wanted to, and 10 just put the reviews, we're the most highly reviewed and ranked virtual professional or virtual assistant company in the world. Like we are number one in terms of ratings. We are number one in terms of size. We are number one in terms of our customer satisfaction scores, which are huge and high. But yeah, 100% come in, talk to us. It costs you nothing. If everything sounds like you want to move forward, then we would love to, we'd love to serve you. All right, Chrissy just moved forward. Who else is going to move forward? Because I think it's a really big opportunity. And I'm going to tell you this, we're going to end in a couple minutes. Please keep your questions going. But this is a sad stat. As a real estate professional, the average real estate, person actually retires with less than $100,000 in the bank. So we spend our entire career hustling, searching for customers, and then at the end of it, we don't have anything that's sellable. We don't have a retirement. We on average only own one home. And so and we end up with a retirement account of 100,000. Now these are NAR stats. These are not my stats. I'm not making this up. This is the National Association of Realtors. When they do surveys on, us, me, you, the entire company, these are the reality for us. And so we don't build businesses that are sellable. And that's not what I want for you guys. What I want is to help you build systems and processes, build your database, delegate the things that you can get off your plate so you can focus on revenue generation, client, customer interaction, customer like referrals and business, so that at the end of the road, and now while you're building it, not only are you not burned out, but you're in balance. So you're enjoying your family, you're enjoying your health, you're enjoying your business, owning a business. But I want at the end of it for you to have something that's sellable. And so this is probably the one thing, hiring an assistant, getting your CRM and your database straight, you focusing on revenue, you focusing on building team, you focusing on maybe your revenue share. EXP has a very rich and beautiful revenue program that you can bring agents underneath you and earn equity and income. So if you focused on these things and you got rid of everything that wasn't that, get rid of your paperwork, get rid of your marketing, get rid of your input into MLS, Now, this is how ridiculous I am. Back in the day, I put a camera on our MLS had the little code that squirreled, like it just turned and turned and turned. And so, in order to access MLS, you had to have that code. So, I literally put a camera on the code so that my virtual assistant could access MLS and input all of my listings and take a listing down or mark it as pending, because it just didn't add value to the business for me to do that work. That's the mindset that I'm inviting you to have right now, is like, what could you give away? What could be the world for you so that you can actually build a business worth owning? That's what I'd leave you for. We have consultants that are ready to take your call, schedule a time, build a plan, get a copy of our book, and perhaps build a different business than you have today.
Thank you so much, Daniel. And Teen, our amazing moderator, thank you so much for coordinating the session today. Chrissy, we cannot wait to talk to you here at MyOutdesk, and everybody else on the call. Thank you so much for taking time from your very busy schedules in order to invest in yourself. As Daniel mentioned, that's what we're all about, is investing in yourself to get time back and scaling not only your businesses, but also increasing your personal satisfaction and peace of mind. So looking forward to talking to you guys. You can always find us at the EXP Solutions webpage, but furthermore, Teen put in the comments our direct link to our people. So please click on that. And once again, Daniel Ramsey, founder and CEO of MyOutdesk, thank you so much for this great webinar today.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
EXP.